Welcome to the Inner Altar. I'm Ronni. And if you're listening to this right now, I just want to thank you for being here first and foremost. This moment feels really sacred to me because this isn't just the beginning of a podcast, it's the beginning of a new chapter in my life. And if I'm being completely honest, I almost didn't do this. And it feels really bittersweet and almost, in a sense, heartbreaking to do this. But I do have to remember that to tell my story is a dream of mine as well. I, t- I started a podcast with my best friend, and I'd imagine we'd continue it together for a long time, but that's okay. Life does have a funny way of redirecting and sometimes it's just the way that it's supposed to go. So instead of letting this dream die, I decided to keep walking because I realized that so much of my life has been waiting and waiting and waiting. I mean, waiting until I lost the weight, waiting until I made money, waiting until my relationship felt perfect, waiting until my anxiety disappeared. You know, I was constantly waiting until I was healed enough, waiting until I was ready. But what I am beginning to become aware of is what if being ready never comes? What if life is asking us to begin exactly where we are? So here I am, really freaking nervous, excited, imperfect as hell, but I'm beginning again. And of course, I named this podcast The Inner Altar because, of course, of the brand that I am creating. And not only that, but because an altar to me isn't a place outside of ourselves, it's where we return, when life just breaks us way the fuck open. It's a place where we can lay down our grief, our shame, our addictions, our vices, our masks, all of the old identities that we once had. It's truly where we stop pretending. You know, it's where we remember who we truly are underneath everything we've accumulated to survive. And I think that that's really what I've been doing my entire life without even freaking realizing it is just returning again and again and again and again and again. So, people know me today as a mom of two girls, first and foremost, a massage therapist, an artist. But there has been so many versions of Ronnie that to know me today is not who you would have known 6 months ago, let alone 3 months ago, 5 years ago. There once was a little girl who wanted everyone to be okay, who read the room before she even knew how to read her freaking self. I mean, it's the teenager just trying to figure out where she wanted to belong. And then it continues on, into the young woman who searched for validation in places that she could never truly get it. There's versions of me that constantly compared herself to everyone, and I still do. I am so guilty of this. There's versions of me that hated looking in the mirror, and let me tell you what, body dysmorphia is fucking real, and there's still parts of me that resurface with this old version of me. I believed that happiness lived 45 pounds away, 50 pounds away, 70 pounds away, 100 pounds away. But the thing is that there's so many different old versions of myself. I mean, I can go on the drunk Ronnie, the oh my gosh, that's a whole episode itself, you know? And I do want to talk about her because pretending she never existed would really be a disservice and dishonesty to my own self because drunk Ronnie wasn't careless, she wasn't hurting. She was just really fucking overwhelmed and just trying to quiet her nervous system. She just wanted connection. I mean, I can go on about just that version. And what's amazing to think is that we haven't even stepped into all of the versions that we will be, you know? But the thing about it, about Drunk Ronnie, and I will dive into it for a minute, it's, you know, I say all those things that she was just trying to quiet her nervous system and just stop overthinking for a few hours. So, of course, she'd have a drink and another, and then another. And maybe everyone else thought she was just having fun, but she would be crawling into her bed with her heart fucking racing and wake up at 3 in the morning with anxiety, gripping her chest, promising herself she was done, tell herself never again, over and over and over, only to find herself repeating these cycles weeks later. Not because she lacked discipline, because she lacked peace within herself. And I know that I am not the only one. I know there are people listening who have their own version of that story. Okay. Maybe yours isn't alcohol. Maybe it's work. Maybe it's shopping, people pleasing, relationships, social media. It could be a completely other drug. The thing is that staying busy every second, every day because silence feels unbearable is where you need to come to terms with the fact that that is where the discomfort and the healing begins, is when you just finally sit with yourself in the silence without numbing. But the beautiful thing is that like don't I really don't hate any of those versions of me anymore. Like I used to say, "Oh my god, I hate drunk Ronnie." But the thing is that I constantly judged them and I was embarrassed by them and I wanted to erase them. But I'm beginning to look back with compassion because every version of me, not just drunk Ronnie, the people pleasing Ronnie, the single mom Ronnie, the angsty inner teenager Ronnie, all these different versions of Ronnie. I love them all now because every single one of them has walked those versions of me so that I could fucking run right now. And I'm still constantly changing and ever evolving. I mean, motherhood changed me in ways I never expected. It cracked me wide fucking open. It exposed every wound I thought I had buried. It made me realize that healing isn't just about us, me, Ronnie, okay? This shit is generational. Okay, every time I choose to regulate my nervous system instead of react, every time I apologize instead of defend, every time I choose the presence and the peace over perfection, I'm changing something for my daughters and I'm giving them what I did not know nor have access to give myself. Okay, permission to be human, permission to just feel, to rest, to be enough. People ask me why I started massage because, to be honest, a lot of that saved me in so many ways. The stillness, the touch, the nurturing, it's a deep part of my own healing when I am helping others heal. And in my healing journey, I have somewhere along the way stopped believing fully in a God in a book and more in a God in everything around me. There's a lot of things, a lot of stories that I do and I don't believe, but what I do believe is the shit that I can see now and the beauty of it. The changing of the seasons, the way rivers keep moving. It's my daughter's laughter, like it's silence, tears, breath. It's the ordinary sacred moments. And so what I'm starting to realize is that maybe that's where God had been all along, just waiting for me to slow down, go through all these different versions, all these lessons, all these things that he has given to me, for me, just waiting for me to just slow down to notice. So this podcast isn't about teaching or preaching or anything like that. It's just about remembering that healing isn't linear, remembering that your past doesn't disqualify you, that every version of yourself deserves compassion. That remembering your body has been carrying your story all along. Okay? Remembering that you don't have to become somebody else to be fully healed. You just have to come home to your inner altar. Because there will be days where you and I still struggle, where anxiety will visit us, where old habits will whisper in our ears. Okay, there will be days where we question ourselves. But are we going to hide those days? No, we're going to stand it straight in the eye and fucking face that shit. I don't want to build a platform on perfection. I just want to build a platform on honesty. So I want someone who is, listening in their car, folding laundry, doing simple things like that, sitting in the school pickup line, okay, to be listening to this podcast and think, wow, I'm not the only one. Because listen to me, you're fucking not. None of us are. None of us are. So if you're listening and you're in the middle of your own beginning again, if you're healing your inner child or rebuilding after divorce or quitting drinking, if you're trying to become a better parent, if you're questioning your faith, exhausted, anything, pull up a chair, because let me tell you what, you're welcome here. Bring your mess, bring your grief, bring your shame, bring your joy, everything, every version of you, because I'm creating this space for all of you. Again, this isn't a podcast about teaching or preaching, none of that. Nope, it's just about remembering and returning to your body, your intuition, your own creativity and truth. Returning home to your own inner altar. So thank you for sitting with me today. Thank you for trusting me. So thank you for tuning in. Life is strange. Change is inevitable. But I just want to thank you for listening to me and hearing what I have to say. And if no one has told you lately, let me be the first. You are not too broken. You are not too much. You are not behind. You are a human being who has survived every single day that brought you here. And maybe, just maybe, the woman you're becoming is already proud of the woman who's listening to this right now. Because I sure am. So, welcome to the inner altar. I'll see you in the next episode.